What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Remo, aka Mr. Trevis, back to another installment of Let's Talk Fashion, powered by the JBT Network, and another season, another dope conversations. We talk fashion, sports, just the culture around here. It's no rules, barbershop conversation, and you know how we get to it, man. Don't forget to rate, comment, like, subscribe, tell a friend, and tell a friend. Share my shit, man. Come on now. We got a special guest in the building. One of my friends, Trevis Craig. Coach Trevis, this is.
Or we jump right into the coach.
Listen, man, I'm just giving my intro, my spiel, man. But welcome to the show, man.
What's up?
Nothing much, man. Listen, before we even get into what you do, all of that other good stuff,
Yeah.
the audience, when we reignited Let's Talk Fashion, because it was decile for a while,
Yeah.
and you asked me, what you doing with this? And you actually got me back in motion when it comes. So I want to thank you again, man. I appreciate that, man. Because you was one of the guys that was like, you got talent for this shit, but you wasting it. So now we here 4 seasons in and we here shooting the shits, man. So you've been busy. A little different directions from when we last, sat down.
Yeah.
So tell the people, what do you add to this resume now?
So I mean, just to kind of like update people on like what I've been doing. It's been a change within the last year and a half, I would say. Right. So as some people might know, my background is in advertising, marketing, communications, right? I do a lot of branding work, specifically in the telecommunications space, right? Mm-hmm. But I grew up obviously on sports, playing basketball, that type of stuff, in Queens, in New York, period, playing in a lot of top tournaments, playing basketball in high school, college, et cetera, right? So I have a very big basketball community that I haven't tapped into for a very long time, right? And my opportunity presented itself, I would say 2024, like around like October-ish, like around that time, where I was able to apply for a coaching job, right? Based off of some kind
head coaching job.
Head coaching job.
Okay, all right.
The head coaching job came about based off a situation, and I had time to do it. The school I coached for is the Mary Lewis Academy. It's an all-girl Catholic high school in Jamaica, Queens, Jamaica Estates to be exact. It's like right in the middle of
rich people shit.
Right in the middle of a good neighborhood. And the opportunity presented itself, and I put my name in a hat for it, and I'm here. Yeah.
So I got a chance to witness this, firsthand, y'all.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, I don't know if I could do this. Females got emotions, and it's a little different from coaching guys.
Yeah.
So like, how do you approach that? Because it's a vast difference.
Yeah. So I came from the guys side. I was coaching AAU, or I still am coaching AAU with the Long Island Panthers. A couple other organizations that I'm part with, Humble Development as well, doing a lot of the training with the kids and stuff like that. So dealing with the boys, I would say it definitely is a difference. In my honest opinion, I actually enjoy coaching the girls just because the skill level and the understanding of the game from a purity, it's there sooner. The boys lean a lot on the athleticism and stuff like that, which is cool, right? But just to see the purity of the game, it comes from the girls' side. And I encourage anybody, like, get past the situation of like, in the boys' game, you see the excitement of the dunking and moving fast and stuff like that. Yeah. When you want to watch like quality basketball and see like the IQ of it, really sit down and go watch like high level high school basketball, high level college basketball on the girls' side. And if you're like a real basketball savant, you'll know what I'm talking about. So I actually enjoy coaching the girls. To your point, yes, there is a lot of those stigma that's out there where it's like, the sensitivity and stuff for the girls, but I kind of use that as my advantage, right? Especially when it comes to like my teaching methods and stuff like that. So it works out.
Okay. I tell my son all the time, I say, girls play the right way.
Yeah.
If you want to see that without, because he's short as hell, he ain't dunking nothing right now.
Yeah.
But they do everything correctly. Well, on a higher level.
Yeah.
Because they're more leaning on skills and what they've learned in the gym. So that's kind of dope, man. But aside from that, you brought me out of my dojo to actually design some jackets for the seniors.
Yeah.
And I said, man, I'm retired. I done told him, hey, listen, I'm not designing nothing. He said, I ain't trying to hear it. This is what I need. I don't know how I ended up designing this shit, but it came out pretty dope.
Nah, I mean,
just that you trusted me to do that once again.
I mean, you are retired. I agree with that.
No, I'm not gonna say I'm retired. I'm decile. I'll be back.
Sabbatical, right? Kind of chilling on pause a second. But when it comes to, friends, connections, I got to make sure I reach out to the people I know that's going to do the work the right way. So, I put a little bit of a pain on your back for you to get that done for me. But it came out good. All the seniors loved them. I'm pretty sure you'll show people the jackets and kind of how it came out. I love that process. I'm actually in the middle of getting my own done. I have to reach back out to you for a couple of things we got to get changed. Yeah. So we're gonna get that done. But the reason why that's important is because like one of the things that I know that I'm currently in the mix of doing right now is kind of like exposing these girls, even my school, to a different element when it comes to sports, right? Sometimes, yes, it's the X's and O's, it's the kind of, getting things together from a basketball standpoint, but it's another side of it that I bring, and obviously it's the corporate environment, right? And having those connections to help build out a proper program, the look and feel of it, kind of like making sure the girls are in the best place. So even if they want to do something outside of basketball, they have doors to go through. Yeah. And that's things that I'm definitely helping with. There's a couple cool things that I have in place now that I'm back in corporate. Yes. I won't say the company. On that too. Thank you. I won't say the company I am working for. I'm gonna keep that very, very low key for this run around. But I did 15 plus years, like I said, in the telecommunication space. It's public knowledge of me working for Time Warner Cable and Spectrum. Throughout those things, that stuff is on my LinkedIn, so I don't have to hide or share or any of that. But the new company I'm working for, I'm gonna see if a couple of things are possible to do with them. Yeah. There's a couple my other corporate contacts that's reached out to me throughout the season that are interested in doing stuff with us. Yeah. I told them, I said, let me get this right first with administration. The administration I work for is really, really dope. Shout out to Bill, assistant AD. Shout out to Christina, head AD, and Miss A, which is the president of the Mary Luce Academy. Those people are really, really great. They trusted me with the girls, even though I got the job 2 weeks before the season started, and I had a lot of things to get done before we even hit the court. But it was definitely an interesting season, and I'm definitely happy for the opportunity.
Okay. Listen, now that we got you here, this is Let's Talk Fashion. Yeah. We're going to roll all of those into some topics that we got going on, and we just going to shoot the shit.
Yeah.
So basically, I want to tell you, we in during the time of the NBA playoff, where there's a lot going on. And I just want to say it's a shift in the guard.
Yeah, it is.
The young guys, they kind of hear and they saying, it's our turn.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like the elements that we grew up on as kids. There was a guy who ran, the league, and you had to go through that one guy. And then there was Jordan. Before Jordan, there was Magic and Bird, and you know what I'm saying? Yeah. There was certain teams and certain guys that you knew were the staple for at least a decade.
Right.
So now we have Kobe, God rest his soul. He was one of those. And then it was a LeBron. But the LeBron era is kind of on his tail end.
Yeah.
So now we at the point where we have, Edwards, you have a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Ja for whenever you want to play nice or not.
Yeah.
We got a lot of different looks coming in. And I just want to know how you feel about just the movement of the youth.
I like it, actually. I'm not one of the ones that are talking about back in my days or that nonsense that get put out. It comes full circle. It's not only actually happening in sports. It's happening, I think, in general. I think the younger generation are not waiting to be great. They're actually working it and trying to get on that platform a little bit sooner. Yeah. They're okay with making mistakes and stumbling, and even if it happens within the public eye, because they're growing up on social media, so they can't escape it. I actually enjoy it. I think if you feel that you put enough work in and you feel that you're allowed to be on that stage, you should go for it. Shout out to somebody like Kyrie Irving. He didn't wait, right? This footage of, when he was in Team USA and he told Kobe you can guard him, because he believed the training and the skills that he did. Now that's something that we didn't see before. A lot of people, like you said, you'll walk into an environment, and because these people are quote unquote great, you'll wait your turn or you'll be humble. I think people like Kyrie Irving and a lot of the youth now, they're really diving into the work that they're doing, and they're not afraid to show it, and they're not afraid to make those mistakes and be able to correct it and go back into the lab and come out stronger. So I give a lot of shout outs to them. I mean, that's the way I operate. If I'm great at something, I'm going for it. It doesn't matter, who.
It's crazy. I just think these young dudes is like, man, fuck these old niggas. Like, straight up and down. Because Edwards, right? KD is his GOAT.
Yeah.
His favorite player, blah, blah, blah. Took care of him last year. Packed him up. Now he's LeBron. LeBron is LeBron.
Yeah.
The face of the league. Probably the most cleanest we've seen a star athlete
for
throughout 20 plus years. I don't care about that. Stomping on him up. Luka, I'm Spider-Man Web.
Yeah.
He's there now. And we've been seeing not even just the level of the NBA.
Yeah.
We can bounce this back, even WNBA, college.
Yeah.
The Juju's, hope she gets well, and Sabrina with the sneakers.
Yeah.
It's a change going on, and I think we gotta appreciate the youth that's going on with this.
I think so. I think, like I said, these people are not waiting. And as you can see, and I don't know if this might be part of it or this might be happening in coincidence. Like, I think when you think about somebody like Kobe Bryant, who dedicated himself to like the craft of the game, right? He understood as in like, yo, if my turnaround jump shot is not working and I miss 7 of them tonight, I'm going to get into the lab and shoot like 1,000 of them to get that kink out, right? He dedicated himself to the game, and he didn't get a chance to dedicate himself to the other part of his life as well. I think a lot of people are paying attention to those things, and they're saying it's like, nah, if I'm great now, I'm going for it. And it doesn't matter in what facet of their life they're going. It could be in the stage that they're in, or the profession that they're in, right? They're going for it right away, and then they're being unapologetic about it, which is great. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to wait for somebody to open the door for you. You can create the door yourself and walk through it, right? It's a longer road, it's harder, but it actually makes more entrepreneurs, it actually makes more people who are willing to lead in that perspective. And if you're ready for that challenge, you don't go for it.
That's like Shorty, what's the shooter from the WNBA?
Caitlin Clark.
The old heads gave her so much shit. They wasn't really ready to say, she's gonna change the landscape of the WNBA.
Yeah.
And it's like, it was so much pushback. Cause I get it. But they wasn't riding around on jets and shit like that prior to her coming in there.
Right.
The audience attention level, the people coming to the arena, televised games, the landscape has changed where we're putting a look and seeing what's going on at these levels now. Even with Shorty from LSU that came in, that was a whole storyline between them two coming in, and you know what I'm saying? Just a star level of these youthful players has to change the game.
I think whoever behind the scenes was smart enough to put together the narrative between those two. I think it got a little bit too far when they started getting the racist stuff in there, more so on Caitlin's fan side. But what I would say is, there's 2 players that I've said over the last 2 years, and here's the thing, there are certain things that happen behind the scenes that a lot of people are not privy to. Because of the work that I do, I was privy to some of that information in sports specifically. When Time Warner Cable was doing a certain deal, I was privy of certain things that happened that trickled down to somebody getting a contract based off of an executive saying, hey, we just put X amount of money in this TV deal. We need to make sure this happens because we need to sell X, Y, and Z, right? A lot of common fans are not privy to that information. It goes beyond basketball at that very moment, right? But when you look at somebody like Caitlin Clark, or even somebody like a Cooper Flag, those 2 individuals are not the great white hopes. Those are actually, like, if you go and study those people, they actually went and did the work, right? If you go and actually look up Caitlin Clark and the kind of like work she's doing behind the scenes when it comes to her game, she's putting in the actual work to be great. It's not like, well, she's the privilege. Now, the privilege is going to be there because of the color of her skin, but she's a hooper, right? And if you know basketball, same for Cooper Flag, they're hoopers, right? They're putting that time and they're putting that pain in. So I think most people who like respect the sport understand that. And you get like the casual fan that, gets into the situation with Angel Reese, and Kit and Clark. And even with Angel Reese, I know people make a lot of fun about the social media things. I personally think everybody in the WNBA and anybody who needs to understand branding, marketing, and anything that dealing with like brand deals, you need to go sit down and have a class with her, right? Because you could talk about her jump shot, her work ethic, whatever it is. She makes sure she has a great balance between what she does on the court and bringing in that money, because she understands right now the WNBA is not going to give the checks that she values, right?
Listen, the WNBA checks, I didn't know it was like 60 to 80,000.
And listen, they're gonna get there. It's still a young league. Like, people don't understand, it's a very young league.
Yeah.
People,
what are they 20 years in now?
I think it might be a little bit more. It's not that many. They're pretty young compared to the NBA. They're pretty young. I think they didn't start until like the 90s, if I believe. Like, it was like middle of the 90s.
It happened like, from what I remember Dawn Stanley. It probably happened like 98.
Yeah, like obviously, anybody online, you can check that out for yourself.
Yeah, fact check.
Yeah, you can fact check it. But you can tell, like, because we didn't get to see a Sharon Miller in the WNBA, right? Which would have moved numbers. Like, if the WNBA or the people who are in charge of the NBA would have moved a little faster, then we would have gotten Sharon Miller on a better platform.
We would have got Dawn Stanley early.
Like, those things are important. So the game didn't get a chance to move, and that talent was behind the scenes, and you would only see that talent if you were like embedded in women's sports at that very moment, right? It wouldn't have been part of like the casual fans television experience. So I think those things are very important. But like I said, I think people like Angel Reese are gonna be fine. She's getting in the lab doing what she has to do. People are gonna keep making fun, but the narrative is gonna change, right? I think she's gonna have a better WNBA season her second year around, in her sophomore year. And Caitlin is going to continue being Caitlin. Like, regardless of the fact of how you feel about it, the one thing she does that's very well is shoot the basketball. And you don't need to be the most athletic person in the world. You just need to understand the principle of shooting, and she gets it at a high clip. So I'm not necessarily worried about people like that.
Well, with all the marketing that goes on, kind of the marketing scheme behind that. I want to talk about something that isn't really spoken about on a level, but it's the landscape of high school, AAU, and kind of how branding with a certain team puts you out the window with certain teams. So, for example, like, if growing up you're an Adidas sponsored athlete, you don't really get invited to a lot of Nike stuff. Right. But I just think the involvement in money and sports from a young age is very it's a nasty game.
It's a disgusting game, because what ends up happening, the kids are not privy to what's going on. It's more the adults moving the pieces behind the scenes. I think a great if you're interested on how that looks and you want to get like a nice entertainment kind of view of it, I think you look at the show Ballers on HBO with The Rock. Yeah. That talks a bit from the NFL side of things, but you can kind of guess like how it works in sports in general if you watch the entire season of that. Ballers is a great show to kind of like get into behind of what happens behind the scenes of like how these TV deals are put together, how these brand deals are put together, why certain kids get access to these things. Yet again, it does work off of the athlete being tremendous of what they do, and somebody seeing like how they can make money off the back of this athlete. But I think what's happening now is that athlete is getting a little bit more smarter, and they're the ones taking more control over that situation. A la somebody like a Jaylen Brown, right? Who's like, listen, I can care less about you guys' big deals. I know, for example, I'm the entity, so I'm gonna start putting things together. Yeah. He's obviously on the other side of the spectrum because he's really, really smart.
Yeah, he's really smart, but he puts himself kind of left wing with everybody.
Yeah. I listen. I am for people like Jaylen Brown. I operate mindset. I don't deal with the system, right? There's a systematic thing that I'm dealing with now with the things that I'm coaching and dealing with Catholic League. And I've seen a lot of different things over the couple months I've been here so far. Cause I started in October all the way to the season ended in March. So there are certain things that's going on where, people won't be privy to. But I'm actually excited about that. I actually want whatever's happening systematically to continue happening. I want I won't say any names or any schools or anything like that. Like, I keep it super professional. Whatever schools are doing certain things behind the scenes to get kids into their building, continue doing it, right? Whatever, lies coaches are telling parents, continue doing it. The reason why I want to operate from that space is because it's not if, when I beat you guys and when I put the things together for the people that's in my program. It's that feeling is better because you've tried everything, the most nastiest against the rules way to get things going, and it still didn't work. Because at the end of the day, whatever God has for you planned, especially when you do things the right way, there's nothing you can do about it.
So how common is that really?
It's common and super common. Happens all the time. Like it's literally happens all the time where you have people behind the scenes who try to put things together based off of their narrative and what they want things to be, right? And they don't like people like myself. They don't like people like Jaylen Brown because we don't operate within that system. Like I had somebody within within a game, like I'm coaching against another team, and the opposite coach asked me, he's like, "Yo, what's your story? Where you come from? Like, how did you get this coach?" Like, because he's like, he realized like, oh, I didn't go through the traditional way of getting it. There wasn't a situation as in like I was assistant coach here, and then my head coach ended up retiring or something happened. I got the job. It was kind of like the school had a coach before last year, and then there was quiet for a while, and then this guy comes out to see, and and it's not like a situation as in like
black guy too.
I can't hide, right? I'm 6'4", I got dreads, and I'm black. And they're like, well, who the hell is this person? Like, why is he in this space? And like I always tell people, like the thing that I like, the fact is the school that I'm connected to, right? I look at it as, well, it's an Ivy League school for high schoolers. Like the academics in my school is top notch. And that's something that I really appreciate because, what I try to preach to my girls or any of the kids I come in contact with, try to get all the money you can, right? A lot of kids sometimes when they
well, hold on.
Good.
What you mean get all the money that you could?
All right, so I'll break it down this way, right? So as we're growing up, you play ball, I play ball. The whole thing is like, yo, what you want to do in college? I want to go D1, right? And everybody's like, well, that's the kind of buzzword to say. I want to go D1, right? And it's like, all right, cool. That's the cool thing to say, but there's an actual process for a D1 athlete, right? Yeah. There's a certain stature, there's a certain height, there's a lot of different things to climb that ladder. But when I say get all the money you can, it's because it goes beyond this D1. Like you can go to a high level D2 school and be a full scholarship athlete, right? And how those packages are put together in many different ways. So if let's say, for example, you're a kid who's a 4.0 student in high school, right? And you're on honor society or everything, right? Teachers list, principal list, president, whatever it is, right? And you're also a top athlete. The way that they put your package together, it might not be all athletic money, right? Because there's a budget for that, right? When you look at the coaches and stuff like that and the things that they're doing on a college level, they have a budget, right? And within that budget, they have to be able to say who I'm going to give X amount of money for a student athlete and who I'm going to try to do a package where this person's getting a lot of their money from academics, right? That doesn't mean that you're a lesser athlete than the person who's full scholarship. It just means that your package is different. So I teach the kids about, listen, let's talk about your package. Forget about just going D1. Because the goal is I went to college for 4 years and I left college with a zero balance. That's the goal, right? So a lot of coaches, they don't necessarily understand that, right? And a lot of people and parents don't understand that. So my knowledge behind those things is what comes into play of like me teaching my kids, right? It doesn't matter what the package looks like. As long as our goal is I went to school for free, right? And I graduate for free. So now when I get X job, if I go to WNBA, if I end up being a doctor, or maybe I'm in media, or I'm doing like sports medicine or whatever like that, I got that job with a zero student debt. You know what I mean? That's the entire goal. That's what the parents want. That's what the kids should want. Because you don't want to start your adult life with a $80,000, $100,000, $300,000 school loan.
Or a partial.
You don't want that, right? You want to have, like, I graduated my degree, I played ball, and I was able to have a zero balance when I came out, and I got my job starting at $80,000. You know what I mean? And all that money's coming back to me. That's kind of like where I remove myself from the systematical things, and I'm teaching my kids about the future version of themselves, right? The work that we're putting in now, when you're 16, right? And we're putting the work in, you're putting that work for the version of the 25-year-old version of yourself. So when I showed you how that works, is like, don't look for the instant gratification now. We got to get in the lab at 16, 17, 18, do this work now, so the 25-year-old version of yourself reaps the benefit of all that work you put in, right? So those are the kind of things that I'm doing this a little bit different.
I'm gonna keep it real with you. I was bad in school, but when He Got Game came out, I was waiting for my tour.
Yeah.
I think Spike Lee's rendition of what actually, happens in recruiting, he peeled back the layer years earlier before people started coming out saying this is what really goes on behind the scenes. So I always thought that movie was pretty dope in hindsight now, looking in, because it's like, you see how much money was given to, the family to help him make a decision. You seen the conversation. You seen the tours that took place at these colleges, and everybody wanted to feel like they had that big moment. And so that was pretty, telling that when that movie came out, if Ray got drafted in 96, that was like 98?
Yeah, I would say.
98, 99?
Yeah.
So for him to do that 20-something, 25 years early, and now we got all of these. We'll talk about it later.
And the original person was supposed to be, that movie is really based on
Stephon Marbury. Yes, Coney Island, Brooklyn's finest. I'm super New York bias over here. But before we even jump to our break, I just want to say, I want to give you an idea what you feel. In the last almost 3 decades, the face of the league has always been a Nike branded athlete.
Correct.
Is that a thing? Or, we got the Edwards conversation. He's with Adidas. Shai Gilgeous is going to be the MVP, or should arguably be the MVP.
Yeah.
He's with Converse. It's kind of Nike adjacent.
Yeah.
And then we have Nikola, whatever his name is, Jokic.
Yeah.
I don't even know who he's with.
No, it's not. I don't know if he's in the big.
It's not a big brand, but he's with somebody else. So is the NBA ready to relinquish, its face of the league that's a non-Nike athlete?
That, if I had to guess, that's probably not gonna happen. I mean, Anthony Edwards is making a big push for it. I think what Kyrie's doing with Anta is pretty dope as well.
Yeah.
I think you have to understand this, right? The people who have the bigger pockets are gonna always have an option to play, right? Nike might be, cooling off right now in a sense, but at the end of the day, the movers and shakers, you have the bigger pockets, you're able to play. I'm not saying Adidas doesn't have money. I think Adidas is great in the lifestyle world. I think when it comes to the basketball athlete, they've tried throughout the years with the D-Rose, and you have the Damian Lillards, John Wall? No. John Wall's Adidas? No.
John Wall was Adidas.
Yeah.
And then he just...
Yeah, something happened. James Harden, obviously. It's just that the balance of what Nike he did on the court and off the court, it is hard to align those stars again. This is like trying to say, well, what company is going to come up with the next iPhone?
Yeah.
That shit is like, it's wrong. It's never going to happen again.
Yeah.
Right. I think one of the things that people need to pay attention to is the fact that Nike is moving a lot more in the technology space, even what they just recently did with Hyper Ice and what's going on there.
What was that?
So
I'm not abreast.
Yeah, huh?
I'm not abreast with that.
Okay, so Nike and Hyper Ice came together with a collab where they're bringing the kind of like the technology that Hyper Ice does, which is the compression.
Oh, the recovery shoes.
The recovery shoes.
Those are $900.
Yes.
Yeah,
right.
That's kind of crazy.
So they're they kind of like if you look at it, it looks like something like the Marty McFly.
Yeah, I seen them now.
But when you look at, they're going into a space where it's like that premium. Yes, maybe like the typical athlete might not get that, but that's a high item, especially if it's going to work the way it needs to work.
Yeah.
Where all of the top athletes are going to get it. If you're a top college player, you're going to get it. That's going to be in every single locker room and stuff like that. Like that space, that's not for regular retail. By now, the hyper beast, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Like, you're going to get some people who have a little bit of extra pockets and is going to buy that. But Nike is not necessarily worried about ever losing the face of the NBA. And the reason why is because that phenomenon of what Jordan has done, it's probably never going to be repeated ever again.
Yeah.
I actually think, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, like, please, nobody from Jordan brand or anybody come out and try to, kill me, anything like that. I think Jordan Brand is making a mistake with what they actually do with releases.
Yeah.
Right. So, and I think there's a big opportunity. And the reason why I know like a lot of the retros, especially with the ones that we like, the ones that we grew up on, the ones with the Nike on it, the reason why a lot of those are not really released as much as they need to, because when that happens, Nike gets a portion of that. When the Jordan Brand is trying to do things on their own and they're trying to re-replicate what has happened throughout the years before when, Dad was playing, right? When Mike was playing. So where I'm saying I think the mistake is happening is I think they should go and renegotiate that deal or something where, they can do a proper collab with, getting the Nike logo back on the Jordan sneakers for the release for this reason. When we grew up, when we grew up, mom and dad bought us those sneakers, right? Unless it's like you was a hustler or something like that. But most of the times, mom and dad bought those sneakers. Yeah. So there's a demographic of kids who are now adults, who have their own kids, who have buying power now, who haven't been able to get access to those retros that they didn't get. Like, for example, when I was growing up, I believe...
You ain't telling me.
So when tell me if I'm wrong. So the 16 was the suitcase, right? Or the 17.
17.
So 17s. I didn't get a chance to buy the 17. I didn't get a chance to get those, right?
It was like $200 out too.
Mom felt it was too expensive, X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
I am 38, being 39 this year, right? Born 1986 or whatever like that. I have my own buying power. I don't have to go anybody. If I feel I want to buy something, I can. Yeah. There's a lot. I feel that Jordan Brand was to go out and do and it's easy now. You can go on social media. They can post it up and say, hey, we're going to pick a certain amount of retro releases, which would be connected to Jordan and Nike, and some of them have the Nike on it, sometimes it doesn't, right? And we're gonna release these original colors, but also these other colorways. Who will be interested in buying? Like I could
like a poll, you mean?
Yeah, who will be interested in buying? You throw it up on
that's not gonna work.
Here's the reason why I'm saying that. Right? It's because there's certain sneakers that just people didn't have access to, and sometimes when you're trying to collect data, information on your consumer, sometimes you have to give a little to get a little. Yeah. And I think they need to do a little bit more research on their consumer.
Let's be real. Hello. Let's be real. Nike don't give a fuck about us. They stranglehold certain releases that we can't even obtain.
Yes.
So us as older people now, we are in the older spectrum.
Yes.
Right? We're not the demographic that they're reaching out to. Oh, even though we got the money, right?
Right.
The problem is that these kids now know how to get it faster than you and I. They know how to make sure they get the bots and all of this. We're not going out the way to go get those.
No, we're not. But
and a lot of those pickups that we want are nostalgic to us.
But the thing about it is, right, it's how you do it. Like the things that are being released now, the material is different. This shit is garbage. Right?
But the kids don't care about that.
But that's what I'm trying to say. If you are like Ralph Lauren does it, like Ralph Lauren has Purple Label, right?
Yeah.
That's for a premium brand of people that mess with Ralph completely. Like I'm a big Ralph fan, right? When I go buy Purple Label, it's because I'm trying to treat myself, right? So that's not the everyday consumer, right? I think they need to look at certain things like, okay, who's not the everyday consumer? Who we're not trying to cater to. We put something out on the line happen. I'm talking about this is like similar to like how an interdrop happens. It's like, yo, if you're signing up for this premium XR, you have access to this room.
Yeah.
And based off of this and what you pay, it might be a monthly prescription or whatever it might be, whatever that demographic might be good with. They got to go out and do the research on it. I think you do have a window where you can say, you know what, this brand is so rich that it is people out there. It's like, yo, I got 250.
See, but Nike, but
it's not a Nike conversation. That's a Jordan conversation.
Regardless of what, Nike, Jordan brand, they're still in the same umbrella, right? The thing is, what has worked for all these years, and the hype is still, because Nike's still number one.
Of course.
Right? They don't care about that.
But sometimes, and this is just me, sometimes, and I recently just had this conversation with somebody and he asked me this, like, yo, why do you think certain brands or certain people that reach a certain status, why don't they do certain things that just make common sense? I think sometimes people are lazy, right? I think sometimes you can put something together. It's like, all right, if you tell me like, yo, the reason why I don't want to do it because I need to see if it's going to make us money. Let's say you put the team together and it's like, yo, we come and show you the numbers. The money's going to be there. Yeah. You might be like, all right.
But those a lot of older people in those places that's not really trying to.
But that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to say. It goes back to the conversation. Who's the ones making the decision there?
Yeah.
Making that like, yo, should it be a situation where it's like, yo, it's time to get rid of you?
Change it to guard?
Change it to guard. Because the thing about it is, like, you do have those people. Like, for example, like I've seen you say, like, yo, I'm not buying no Jordans. And then something might drop, you like what you bought recently?
The Fogs.
The Fogs. Because like, yo, you was like, yo, I haven't.
I've never had.
I never had those.
Yeah.
So the thing about it is, you think you the only one that never had?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's least at minimum, you should at least do the research on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if you ain't doing the research on that, then what else you doing it on?
That's a data team though. But they don't have those.
They do. They have them. And it's and
we're not privy to it.
And it's not that hard to get the information. Like I said, it's simple as like, yo, if you was to just literally go and throw up something on your IG to see, like, yo, I'm gonna test this out. It don't cost you nothing to do that. Yeah. I'm gonna throw this up. Ask my graphics team to put something together. We're gonna throw this up. See the feedback you get. If something come back, let's say you get 10,000 people that acknowledging it. Is that enough room for you? Like, yo, what's behind this curtain?
Yeah.
Come on. What else you doing in the office? You just keep dropping a whole bunch of. They dropped them stupid ass Dash sneakers the other day. The Jordan. I sent it to you. He was like, shit. It's like, yo, you trying to get in that world because New Balance is running it.
Yeah.
Relax yourself. You know what I mean? Like, nobody want that. Like, the people want what they want, and they need to tap into the culture. Stop getting away from the culture.
The only pushback that I would give on that is that nostalgia shoes to us, they come out too often, right? And they don't put enough as far as new storylines. You know, you have Luka, you have Tatum, you got Zion. These are all Jordan athletes, right? And
this is not marketable, bro.
It's not that they're not marketable. I don't have any personalized feel to a St. Louis release. You know what I'm saying? You got Nelly right there. Nelly's not gonna tell him no on a campaign, right? You got Zion.
Yeah.
He's in New Orleans. All the music and the bands, they have never played towards that. Granted, you got baby mama problems and shit like that, but Tatum is a clean cut athlete. He's an NBA champion.
Some of the Tatum basketball singles is not bad. They're not bad.
The marketing energy hasn't been behind it. The design team hasn't been behind it.
You want my personal opinion on what that is?
No, before you even get to the personal yet. But then you go over to Adidas and Edwards, they gave him a new looking silhouette. They put energy behind it. They put his mans in the commercial. They poke fun at some of our legends, whether it be Cameron or Carmelo Anthony. And, you know, the enjoyment of seeing a product grow. And Wale brought it to the streets. And that's the first time we've seen an on-court sneaker translate to wearing it outside.
Right.
And we don't get that anymore.
Personal opinion on that?
Yeah.
MJ always gonna be number one. That man, he has real issues of letting go. Right? They dropped the ball. I personally think they dropped the ball with our boy Carmelo Anthony. I think the full entire how you look at who Carmelo Anthony is as a person, his style. I think the red carpet should have been rolled out for him when it comes to everything Jordan brand. When it comes to creating a new situation where it would have rivaled what was going on with Mike. Also, the people who are behind the Mike look and everything that was going on with that, I don't know if any of them are even touching that type of stuff anymore. Yeah, it's different. It's different makers. It's different people who are doing certain things. I think the main guy who did all the Mike retros, I don't even think he
Tinker.
Yeah, I don't even think he
is that active.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to talk too much because I don't go deep in that world than I am. But I would say that's in my personal opinion. I feel like it's a situation where you look at when somebody like for example, in the music industry, you have an artist who's out hot doing what they're doing, but then they saw the label and then they saw signing other artists. Tell me how that's gonna work. So you a hot artist, you doing X, Y, remember, but now you got other people underneath you. You really gonna give the time to run that label the way it needs to be, where you gonna make sure that other artist is gonna do what they gotta do, right? So you the top dog, but then you gonna make sure that person's album is gonna be above you. Now, I think it's smart because at the end of the day, you making money however you look at it. When I'm sleeping as an artist, the top artist, I'm making money because my young bull is doing what he gotta do. But your ego part of it,
But
they're never gonna do that.
But as a branded athlete with something under my name,
Yeah,
you would think that that athlete would take more time in the product being produced out there.
it's the ego.
I'm not gonna okay something that I know. Well, a lot of these kids don't come from the environment we came from.
Right.
More to the streets, so they spend a lot of time in the gym, so they might not have an ear to what's really hot.
Right.
But most of these branded athletes, when they get signed to a brand, they can only wear that lane of sneaker.
Right.
Right? They wear other shit more than they actually wear their own sneaker off court.
Right.
So somebody again like Edwards, we've seen SGA. He's worn his sneakers with stylish clothes.
Yeah.
And none of these other athletes has translated that or transcended that. And that's
well, he's different. The thing about it with SGA, he understands. He's the one that make this stuff look good.
Yeah.
So
the sneaker's not bad.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But he's not afraid to be that type of individual, right?
And put it together. Yeah.
I think sometimes, you have certain people who, like you said, that might not be their world. And now because they have this platform, they have stylists and certain people behind the scenes saying, you got to look like this, you got to look like that. And this shit don't come off natural, right? So you can tell SGA don't look like a person where, I'm not saying he might not have a stylist, but I'm definitely know he don't like have a person where it's like, he know how to put together fits. I'm pretty sure him and his stylist are collaborating on certain things, if just because of timing, right? He might not have the time to do it as much as he needs to.
He's pretty clean.
Yeah, he's a pretty clean guy.
Yeah.
Like I said, with that situation, I feel like there's a lot of things that will drop when it comes to like, the Jordan brand and stuff like that. I think, like I said, Nike's going to always be on top in a sense because they got the money and the resources. And I think for Adidas, they just haven't. The Edwards things is pretty interesting. It could go either way. He could be the person where it gets them over.
Yeah. He'd be the first face of the league with Adidas.
But I like he said, we don't know if he really wants it, right? And he said it, and then he said that I think if it does happen, I think he wants it to happen naturally. I don't think he wants it to be a situation where it's like, hey, you're gonna face the league and here's all the rules that come with it. He's like, nah, bro, like
I'm gonna talk with this country ass accent.
Yeah, like
I'm gonna knock down all these strippers.
You said it. I'm not nobody role model, right? Yeah. And the thing about it, there's different sides of me. I'm not saying I'm disrespectful. I'm not saying, but it's like, yo, if I want to go out and gamble, it's something illegal about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It might be immoral to you because with how you trying to sell me, perceive me to be to other people. But it's like, my thing is like, yo, you think that in households, parents are not having conversations with their kids about certain things. And at the end of the day, if your kid is so influenced by me and what I got going on, that speaks more about your household versus me. You know what I mean? Like, I shouldn't be your role model. It should be your pops. Hopefully your pops in your crib. You know what I mean?
You would like that.
You know what I mean? It should be your mom's. It shouldn't be a situation that because of what I'm doing on the outside, it's influencing you to the point where it's like you can't make decisions without, you know what I mean? Like, it's just a weird dynamic. I never grew up that way. Like, my pops and my moms, like, they're heroes to me. They do things, you know what I mean? Like, I've seen before that no people who coming from the Caribbean done before. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I didn't get influenced from different things outside, but it didn't to a point where it's like, it's gonna mess with like my core of who I am and what my parents instilled in me. That's a weirdo situation. I don't know what goes on in other people's household. That's not how it is with me, and it's definitely not how it is with my kids. So, like, that's just a different topic. So
we live in a time, man. But let's take a break real quick, man, because we do have some unique feet. This is part of the show. We show the kick cam. And this week I pulled a vintage pair out, being that I wore the whole, Orlando Magic silhouette. This is a pair of 08 penny 2s, I want to say. They hanging on by a string, but we putting them together, and just sometimes you got to post things out the archives and really bring it all together, man. So this is what I got on feet today. Tell them what you got going on.
I got the cement 3s on. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I picked up, these are the new releases. I picked them up because the ones I did have before from like in the 90s is definitely was falling apart. I'm gonna tell you right now, I wear it because like I always like a nice pair of black sneakers. But the night and day version of like how this sneaker fits and feel and the material versus the one I had before, This is what I'm talking about.
Night and day. Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about. Where it's like, yo, somebody like myself who remembers or still had things from the 90s and the 2000s, it's like, I can tell the difference, right? So if I can tell the difference, there's definitely other people out there can. But, you know, so throw them on, you know, they like comfy, and they go with the fit, so.
Dope.
Yeah.
Yo, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Welcome back, y'all. Let's pick up where we left off at. We just spoke about, you know, nostalgia and all of this other stuff with fits on and off the court. Now, we're at the point in time where I've been begging for this in the NBA, for people to show the personality and who's who. Because, we, you know, growing up, we had Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
He kind of single-handedly changed the look of the league.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of what, you know, we are, like the hood look. You know what I'm saying? Where they kind of try to stranglehold him and, you know, bring in suits was a mandatory. But now we at the point where personality is back. I don't know exactly when they loosened up the, you know what I mean, the realm on that. But now we have the fit checks. We got tunnel walks. And these are both sides. We got the males and the females. And I want to give credit to the females because I feel as though the females do it better.
Oh, it's natural.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you have the involvement of Skims with Kim Kardashian, which I didn't know it made sense for the NBA first versus the females. But now you catching Angel Reese's walk. You getting we'll show you that date Bam out of Bayou. Asia Wilson.
Asia Wilson.
She has her own sneaker.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're walking dressed up with their sneakers in their hands.
Yeah.
Sabrina had Reebok is behind Angel Reese now. So you getting on and off looks, but you getting a tunnel.
Yeah.
How you feel about the tunnel situation?
I actually enjoy it.
Yeah.
Actually something that I've been talking about for a very long time. I think the WNBA and the NBA, I guess I gotta figure out how they work, whatever. I think they're dropping the ball on everything that could be done within the WNBA from a fashion perspective. Is because when you think about a fashion model, typically basketball players have that
6 foot
body.
slender,
You're looking for a tall, and even when you like when we do casting, like so sometimes when we're doing like setting up a commercial, whatever like that, and things that we're working at work, it will be like, oh, you know, we're looking for a model type female or somebody who is athletic, and they'll start describing somebody who like might be like a volleyball player or a basketball player. My thing is like, if that's naturally already happening because of the way of how they train or what they're doing, or you know how they're built,
yeah,
it wouldn't make sense for you to be like, yo, we're gonna take this we're taking it a step further. The WNBA is gonna have a fashion and thing department where now they're coming together as in like all of these different teams and arenas. We're gonna come together and put together an actual catwalk. So like now you're not seeing the whole like garage or whatever like that. It's an actual, it would look, because it makes sense. It's gonna give you more eyes to your product. It's gonna give you more eyes to what's going on with the girls. They're gonna want to do it more. They're gonna make sure, even though they're already doing it, they're gonna make sure that those fits are 100%. And you just allow that setting to happen and allow the naturalness of whatever those women are putting on when they're coming through to allow it to happen. Don't have it be too orchestrated, right? But to a point where you have a actual WNBA department that's in the fashion world, and then let that be part of Fashion Week or whatever like that. You have an NBA and you do that would make more sense. I think anything you're dealing with when it comes to the girls, you got to look at it different from the boy side of it.
Yeah.
Not saying the boy side they can't do it, but I think it's more natural.
I think it's more helpful on the girl side because the finance isn't there for them to make them whole. That's why you kind of seeing the Revive League and all of that. What is it? Is it Rival League?
Yeah, Rival League.
So you're seeing like that would be a perfect way to make up some of that money for these ladies. But my only pushback, right, would be in the NBA. Some of these dudes be more focused on the whoop than they do performing in the game.
Yeah, I mean,
like a Kyle Kuzma. I'm sorry to single out that one guy. You know what I'm saying? But his performance versus his fits in the tunnel whoop, it looked like more effort be put out in the tunnel than in the game.
I'm gonna give Kyle a little bit pass. I think people are a little bit too hard on him.
Yeah.
Kyle works. I know people personally that it's getting that.
Talking about,
but he works. What I would say is fair criticism. At the end of the day, it comes with it. Like, you know, former champ, you know, had an opportunity to play with some great players or whatever like that. Now you're in a situation where you're kind of like second, or
he had 0-0-0-0.
right, second. When I say second,
But I bet you his fit was fire that night.
like you're one of the best players on the teams. It comes with responsibility,
Yeah.
right? So it comes with like, yo, taking understanding as, you know what, I'm gonna pull back. I'm gonna get in the lab. You know, you have opportunities to pick the minds of the greats. You got a chance to sit down with Kobe Bryant at dinner. You got a chance to play with LeBron and pick those. You know for a fact that they put basketball first. I think when you're coming from those rooms, you got to make sure to understand that when I have my opportunity and responsibility, especially with you getting that contract you got, I think you need to, you know, double down more on the basketball side and allow that to speak for itself. And then, you know, everything else I think comes natural. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you're engaged to Winnie. You know what I mean? Like those type of things end up coming natural.
She's a model too, right?
She's a model as well. Great at what she does. I think he needs to go back in the lab. So hopefully, you know, he has that in his works, in his plans. He has a big summer, because it's not good to see like, yo, you played 30-something minutes, you had like 0, like that's just disgusting.
But that would be my only reservation.
You know, and you're right to make that. As somebody who sits in the world of fashion and plays sports, yo, you're allowed to be criticized, bro. Like if you're gonna have these two flags and you're gonna walk around with them, you gotta understand responsibility. It can't be one or after the other. Just like how like, when the student athlete's like, yo, you got to be good in the classroom, right? You got to have those grades, right? Because it goes back to what I said about like, don't leave no money on the table. If we know for a fact that if you have a 3.5 and up, 4.0, and it can get you more money, why are we leaving that on the table? Why are we not being great in every environment, right? Because why, you want to sit down and do TikTok videos all day? Nah, we can't do that. We got to be great. So let's go get that 4.0. Let's get that working, because when we now sit behind the scenes talking business and we talking about your package, we're like, yo, we can get you X amount of money for FAFSA because you have this. We can get you this grant because you've done X, Y, and Z in these grades, and you're not leaving no money on the table. So the same thing with Kyle Kuzma. You don't want to leave anything on the table to be criticized. Get in the lab. You got the size. You got the game. Put it back together. Get back into your championship mindset and have an opportunity with the Wizards to get the Wizards within. I'm sorry, I'm not with the Wizards. He's not with the Wizards. He's the Bucks. You're with the Bucks now. Be able to now add to that team because you're playing with two other great players. So they're looking for you to be, yo, we got rid of Middleton, bro. Like, you gotta be that. Like, you gotta be that, and you have way more upside. You know what I mean? So you gotta like, let's like cut it, bro. Like, you have an opportunity. And I think if I'm him, I think I would take advantage of that. But you know, sometimes you do need to take a step back and reset everything.
So the landscape, we could bring it back into the whole coaching aspect with you know what I mean? You having high school students ready to go into the collegiate level. This NIL deal, we even backtrack to what we seen. He got game with the parents' involvement back end. Like, break that down, because this whole NIL reclassing, and because the most I knew about with this form of what reclassing would be with the prep school or something like that. But the whole game has seemed to change. And then the involvement of what the parents' request is versus what the student request is. We even seen the quarterback that he kind of, they didn't meet what he wanted in his NIL. He wanted $2 million more. So they were giving him $2 million to be quarterback of, I believe it was Tennessee. He said, you got to meet me with 2 more. He rescinded from the program. Went somewhere else, I think USC or something like that. And then settled for 1.9. Like, that didn't make sense, but they saying that was a request of the parents, and they said it wasn't. It was opportunity. Just kind of give an idea of basically the parent side expectations, the student expectation, and what the school or the program is willing to meet them in the middle with.
Right. So so I'll talk a little bit about the NIL situation, and then I'll break it down that way. So NIL, which is name, image, likeness, right? Those are kind of like, those are basically deals. And back when we played, or when we were in that environment, that was more so something like what we call boosters, right? Boosters used to be able to do something behind the scenes to get like top players in certain places. But now they realize that, you know, it makes more sense for the person or the individual to make money off of their image, right? And what they're doing, you know, which has nothing really to do with the school itself, right? It's like, yo, for example, like NIL was around when Tim Tebow was playing. He's hand down the highest paid NIL person, period. Like, the Tim Tebow's it's crazy. Like,
So the NIL was in place when he was there? Or not?
It was not. So if it was, then he would. It like people like him, people like
Baker.
yes, Baker. Like if LeBron went to college, like the NIL situation would be crazy, right? Those Fat Five, like they go.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
If Melo had the freshman season he had,
And the NIL,
and let's say the NIL was in place, do you think he'd be inclined to give him one more year? From just like where he was at.
Only reason why I would say no is because
He was
it's
top five.
it's not that. It's because I look like Cooper's gonna go to the draft. You know what I mean? So like maybe
did he declare?
He didn't declare it, but it's gonna happen.
Okay.
Maybe because Melo's situation is different. He was battling based off of necessity for his family.
Yeah. Okay.
So if the NIL is around, then maybe, because now it's like, well, I'm already making a couple $100,000 millions, and I could put Mom Dukes and the rest of them in a better environment than we were in Brooklyn or even Baltimore, right? So maybe there's a chance. Like that's the thing. With NIL, it does allow people who might not make as much on the top level to it, so it helps. I think Melo is different. He's obviously a Hall of Famer, and we saw how that was going to go. But maybe, right? What I would say is I think it's great, depending on how it's managed. I think I don't care how young you are. One of the things I teach my kids is this is your journey. You're doing the schoolwork, you're doing the suicides, you're putting up the jump shots, you're doing, you're going out on the field to, practice your soccer or football, whatever sport you're doing. Regardless of the fact if it's your parent, somebody close by you, nobody should be operating on your behalf unless it's something that you want them to do. Respectfully.
So is there agents involved? How does
it could be, but I think with NILs, I think the smartest thing to do is to get a lawyer.
So hold on. Is an NIL deal between just player to school?
NIL is between brand to player. NIL is not. It has nothing to do with the school.
Okay.
No, the school can bring you something. It's possible,
Yeah.
but it's more so the brand is saying, like, so for example, Starter decided to say, oh, you know what? They want to do something with your kid because they're seeing your kid do X, Y, and Z.
Send me whatever y'all want.
Right. Starter's gonna come to you as said parent because the kid might be young, and you and the starter and the family is gonna have the conversation. So what I'm saying from when you say agent, I wouldn't even get an agent involved if I was a parent dealing with that. I would get a lawyer.
Gotcha. A
lawyer to, because remember, because at that point, there is no agent conversation. The brand is going to come to you and say, hey, we want to do a 3-thing campaign with your kid for X amount of time or whatever like that. This is the amount of money we want to pay. No agent is going to be able to. Now, if the agent has lawyer experience, then fine. You need to get an entertainment business or even somebody who is endeavored in NIL deals from a lawyer perspective. The first thing you should always do is get a lawyer. That's the first thing, right? Agents, those people in between, and that's why, like Jalen Brown said, what he said is like, he's dabbling in the world of understanding how things work.
Yeah.
Why do I need you to explain it to me for you to get a cut, and then now the lawyer has to get a cut? Like, I know I have to pay the lawyer because I'm not trying to do all that. From the parent perspective, right, when it comes to that, this is my opinion when it comes to parents, and especially when it comes to like you're helping out kids with their sports, if they're getting a brand deal, like if they're that good or whatever like that. I think it's your job to protect the kid as much as possible. I think how you protect the kid is it tells. I know parents that are protecting the kids where they're trying to manage everything, which I feel managing everything is the wrong way. I feel surrounding your kids with the right people and then you manage those people is the right process of order.
Meaning you manage the people that's talking directly to your child.
Exactly. So for example, when I say
being a liaison,
for example, yes. When I say, for example, it's like, yo, if your kid is getting a deal or a brand and you're gonna get a lawyer or whatever, I don't think said mom or said dad should be lawyer. I don't think like, oh well, I took a law class and no. What I think you should do is go into your Rolodex of people you might know, try to figure out if you might know a couple lawyers, you might know some people. Go ask around. If you find somebody you feel comfortable with your family, you bring that person in and then you manage that person. right? You manage that, because now what ends up happening is you don't want to remove the situation of being mom or dad, right? Being mom or dad is the most important thing in this relationship.
So you kind of parenting who's around your child
Exactly
to make sure that they're there for the right reason.
So let me ask you, in a process is different. Your child is having a educational problem. They have a reading problem or a math problem, whatever it is. Now, yes, as the adult, you can try to go and educate yourself to help your child out. But what will be the proper thing to do? I am going to go find a speech teacher. I'm going to go find a math tutor. I'm going to find that. And what do you end up doing? You're managing that relationship with that said tutor to help child.
So if you're pleased with the performance,
and if you're pleased with the performance or whatever, and the child is now so progressing, right, then you've made the right decision. At that very moment, are you doing the work with that child as parent? No. What you're doing is putting the subject matter expert in position to do the work with the child.
I'm over here thinking like, yeah, I'm paying you all this money. My kid's still dumb as hell.
Like, so the thing about it is, like, I think as a parent, is remember, I sit as coach, and I also sit, apologies. My shoulder.
Keep going.
I also sit as coach. I also sit as parent because I have 2 boys. So, and I also have a lot of parents that I see do the most. And I also have parents who are smart enough to understand, as in, like, I don't know this world, but I'm smart enough to say, you know what, let me go ask the right questions. Let me go do my research. Let me actually go do homework for my child to put them in the best predicament. Some people feel that they know it all, and those parents, you just got to let them be, and whatever is going to.
But they get in the way, though.
You got to let them be.
No, but let's see. All right. You know, as somebody who's, because you grow a certain relationship with a child, it's kind of hard to watch that take place, where the parent is kind of becoming, somebody gets in the way more than anything, and then brands might shun away from that, from the player, or not be willing to deal with the way.
So the brand and the company is going to identify that early. They're going to identify, oh, this parent is trying to live vicariously through this child. They're going to identify that early, and they're going to decide, do I want to work with this family based off of how much I really enjoy this kid or whatever this kid is doing, and am I going to put up with this parent? The brand is going to make that decision. That's why I say the most important part of this process is always be the title that was given to you by God. I am a parent. I am a mom or a dad. I am going to do the things that are going to be mom. I'm going to show up for my child in this environment. So what ends up happening is, when that happens, the sharks can't necessarily do anything that was quick, because the mom and dad is always there.
So I got a different kind of conversation. It's been bothering me not bothering me, but trying to figure out where this topic would land. And
This guy's great.
I guess it would be a good conversation to have with somebody like you. So LeBron James.
Okay.
22 years now. Cleveland. Miami. Cleveland. Lakers. Championship in Cleveland.
Yes.
2 in Miami. 1 in LA. So when we see retirement tours and all this other stuff, I don't think we've seen a star navigate so many places, right?
Right.
So my question is, and it went through my own head, like, if he retired, where would you retire the jersey at?
I mean, all places would probably retire it, just because, I mean, it's the body of work he's put in all places. I mean, they're all Hall of Fame kind of numbers and things. He's won in all those places, so he's gonna get that number. That number is gonna be retired. I mean, it's 23, so, you know, obviously it goes up there with the mic situation, but it's gonna get retired in all places. When it happens, I don't know.
See, the only reason I question, I ponder it, you wouldn't say he's an all-time Lakers great, except from the business aspect of it. Him retiring it there.
He didn't. Yeah, I was gonna say he didn't. How many years? I don't know.
4 years now. Almost 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But think about it. All right.
He'll be in the lowest totem pole of the all-time Laker greats from the Lakers perspective.
But what I'm saying, the reason I push back on the Lakers aspect of things, he hasn't really had much success other than the bubble chip.
Yeah.
They missed the playoffs a couple of times. They lost in the play-ins, and now
is that him or is that the team?
Well, with Heavy is the one that wears the crown. He is the king.
Right, but is that him or the team? It's like, all right, let's look at it from a perspective of this, right? There's a group project. The group project is said basketball game, said basketball franchise, right? Within that group project, what is his goal? What is his role?
Okay, I'll give you pushback on that now. LeBron's been the only one to have the group project and been able to navigate who he wants in that project with him.
Right, as he should.
And a lot of those situations have not been successful in that stop. All right, so that's why I push back on LA. LA has Magic. They view him as something all-time Laker in Kobe. Shaq, where they had three-peat there.
Shaq, three-peat, yes.
Three-peat there. He did most of his domination of his career there.
Right.
He traveled to other locations. So I don't see, besides the business aspect of LeBron,
right,
being in the raft.
Right. I think it's the lowest. It's going to be the lowest retirement jersey in his repertoire.
Okay.
Like the Lakers situation is at the bottom. You know what I mean? I think the two that would be like neck and neck is obviously the Miami and Cleveland situation. Cleveland, because obviously it being his hometown.
With Pat Riley being there, how you think that situation will go?
Pat's gonna retire it.
I don't know about that, because I don't think they had, a great time with each other.
They probably didn't, but regardless, if I don't need to be your best friend for us to do business. I only, I mean, like, and also Pat should not be so petty. Let the man have his cookies.
But that's Wade County.
We're not taking anything from Wade County. Like, it's like, if you look at Miami Heat as something that's going to stand on you, like, you'll probably have, a small mountain there for like the
How many people actually got their jersey retired there? D Wade,
Alonzo Mourning. I'm pretty sure Hardaway's is retired.
I can fact check that. I don't know that many.
I'm pretty sure Hardaway's retired. Well, that's what I'm trying to say. Like the big notable names from that franchise.
Haslam, I believe.
Yes, I think he recently got retired. From that franchise would be, you started off with Alonzo Mourning and that situation, and then obviously the D Wade mountain is going to be the biggest because of the impact he's made. But there's going to be a small LeBron mountain there. It's because, and it's like a olive branch off of the D Wade situation, right?
Okay, these are two locations.
Yeah.
The first you said lowest level in LA, and now he's the lowest mountain in Miami.
Yeah, because at the end of the day,
this is the biggest, one of the biggest star. Not even, he has all the records.
No, you're right. Here's all right, listen. And I try to stay away from this subject. I really do, because I feel like there's too many different variables when it comes to him, right? And it depends on what lens you want to look at it to, right? The LeBron James story and what he has done for basketball, people need to stop questioning that shit, because at the end of the day, greatness is what greatness is, right? You can look at it like, well, he jumped from team to team. Name somebody else that jump from team to team, and every time they jump for a team, their team is 60+ wins. You're probably not going to find a big list. It's not going to fucking happen, right? Name somebody who jumped from team to team that every time he goes on a team, the team is in the play, going to make a deep run or they're the championship. You're definitely not going to find you're going to find a very small list. Name somebody that, just went to different teams, been the man, won championships, and finals MVP. Very small list, right? So regardless of the fact of how you want your superstar to look, that's not what he is. A disruptor. You have to understand there's two different things happening. There's two conversations. There's the barbershop conversation of what we like. Oh, well, who's the greatest? And it's look how Mike did it, or whatever like that. And it's the situation of the system. LeBron himself, the only time he played within the system was his first 7 years up in Cleveland. That is the only time, right? He was a rookie. He said, no problem. From that standpoint, he was learning the NBA. Once he started to learn the NBA and started to realize what was going on, he decided he was going to take his own career into his own hand. And the reason why is because what those owners were doing with him with his first 7 years. You cannot tell me, name another superstar you can think on top of your head, right, where the GM and the president, right, do not move mountains, do not do everything to make sure that their star player is surrounded by the best talent possible for it to happen. Before you say something, the caveat is this: two things that happen. A couple years before, you saw one of the most.
Oh, hell no. The man just told me, hold on my own show. What the fuck? Nah, we gonna fast forward this bitch to talk about what I want to talk about. No, I get all of that though. I get everything with this conversation. But usually when we celebrate that final lap, we know where it's going.
Yo, I think people need to stop celebrating. I think people need to listen to that man alone, bro. At the end of the day, he's never gonna get the credit, and he shouldn't. He's never gonna get the credit for being that trailblazer, because the thing about it is, it's too early to be that one player that actually didn't play within the system, right? To be that one player who actually literally wrote his own narrative, and out of that he came out 4-6, right? That's a record, 4-6 for whatever the championship record is. But let it be 10 years down the line, and maybe it's Jaylen Brown or somebody new who does that.
When it's starting not to be done on a regular, they'll give him his credit of the numbers.
That's what I'm trying to say. That's I'm like, yo, when you look at certain things, I'm like, yo, LeBron's situation, his conversation goes deeper than the basketball aspect. And the thing about it is, like, when people are like, well, why did he go to Miami? Bro, he didn't go to college, and he didn't know how to win. Yeah. I'm sorry, when his talent, like, you know, when they talk about natural ability, his natural talent took him to that 07 championship. Hard to have conversations with people like, he's just talking about things you see on Instagram or ESPN. It's like, yo, bro, I just can't deal with that. I just can't.
I'm glad you said ESPN.
Oh boy.
So it's a topic we gotta touch. It's hot right now. Shannon Sharpe. You know, the allegations out.
Wait. You down with the LeBron situation? You're good on that.
Wherever he lands, he lands. I just know he's one of the greats. I just always wanted to know who would celebrate the number, but it doesn't matter. I don't give a shit. I want to talk about this nasty shit right here, right? So Shannon Sharpe has brought up with a lot of allegations recent, you know, sexual allegations between him and this 19, 20-year-old chick, and, you know, him taking a step away from ESPN at the moment, and he's still got his own brand going on and a lot of other shit. And you've seen text messages coming out. My thing is, right? This shit is in so many layers. We could go so far with this. But I want to start with the whole 56 and 20. Something doesn't work there for me personally. I get it. Technically 56, you don't really want to be with another 56, and I'm married. I'm rich, and, you know, we just don't look the same in 56 unless, you know, the wealth is there, et cetera, et cetera. But these younger chicks are just moving different. And the older guys, I think they get caught up because they don't really know where the world is really going around them.
I'm good. You want my real opinion on this? Like, you want?
Yeah.
All right. So
peel the layers back.
Let's break this down in different things. Okay. So 56 or whatever, how old he is, he's dealing with another adult. It's just on a very young aspect of adulthood. Right. That's fine. So let's get that out the way. So it's no child situation going on here. If you want to be the person that goes back, well, when he was this, she technically wasn't born.
He's an adult. He's an adult.
Yeah, right. So here's a problem that I have with situations. Did we have this type of energy for Hugh Hefner?
Okay.
Right? Do we have this type of energy for, Elvis Presley? It's people who were very famous and they dealt with younger women. Do we have this type of energy for recently? Tracee Ellis Ross, right? She came out, she said, I like dealing with the younger men because the older men, for whatever reason, are very controlling, right? Here's my thing. I think we need to stop lowering the bar for the younger people and understand this. If the younger people are going to come into the space when they're adults at,
they're gonna deal with the adults and the grown people, right? From what I was taught was you can't go into those rooms because adult things are happening in those rooms, right? You need to stay in your place as a child. You need to stay in your place as a young person. And when you feel that you are mature enough to start being in that space, then you can't, right? So that's why when I was younger, I didn't go to certain places because even though I might have been of age, that might be too grown, right?
Hold up. I get what you're saying, right? My thing is adult consent, all that shit sound good, right? You old enough to be in the same room as me now. But the games that's being played, a lot of
No. So that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
He gonna have to deal with whatever, because in both sides, like if you deal with somebody as grown as you have to deal with whatever I got going on as a grown. But if I'm a young person that's doing foolishness and then backfiring you, now you as the older person will have to deal with whatever that backlash is. It's two-folded.
Okay.
Right? It's not a situation as in like, well, the reason why it's like, yo, listen, you just mess with the wrong young person that's not mature, right? Like we all watch the movie How to Be a Player. You remember when he pulled up on his OG, it was his uncle who tore it and got tired game. Last time I checked in that movie, even though it's a movie, that uncle that was doing what he was doing, he didn't have no woman that was his age around him. It was the young girls, and that's what he was pimping. I'm not saying Shannon's pimping. I'm not, whatever I'm doing in his personal, mind you, this is also his personal space. Like, I think sometimes with how things move in the world now with social media and everybody having access to these cameras and recording and people, I'm sending out this DM or sending, like, yo, bro, there needs to be laws in place as in like, yo, if you decide to share something that's in somebody's personal space, you can now be in trouble for that. Yeah. Because me sending a secure DM is supposed to stay a secure DM. It ain't supposed to be screenshot. Me sending a secure text message is between me and that number I send it to. If you decide to let it go, I shouldn't have to deal with any of the. Now I could deal with public scrutiny, but anything that comes with like business wide, I should have to do. That's private.
Well, currently hasn't shifted or moved anything.
No. That's why he did the smart thing. Hey, you know what?
He got in front of it.
While this is going on,
I'm
gonna take a little sababbatical from ESPN.
From Disney.
I'm good on. Chill, Mickey. I'll be with you later. Let me go handle this because clearly people trying to disrupt it. Because here's the thing. What is not happening is the conversation as in, oh, he's about to sign a $100 million contract.
Yeah.
So that's boiling up. So things is happening, right? So before you get that big check, you're gonna shake the tree a little bit, see what's going on. That's fine. Let that happen. He did the right thing. I'm gonna step away. Right. I'm gonna keep it professional. Yeah. I'm gonna step away. Let me handle this, and I get back to it. The executives probably say that's probably the smart thing for you to do. If you come out and there's nothing for you to blame, cool. We continue business. If you are blame to do something, then don't underneath the jail. I keep it very simple when it comes to those type of situations, bro. It's not a situation as in like, it's very black and white. Did you do something that harmed another human being?
No.
Yeah. Now, through the text message and stuff, listen, it seems like he just a big old freak. Last time I checked, there is no crime of being a big old freak. I've also gotten schooled and gamed from my OGs as in like, yo, you better be careful. You know what I mean? When you're doing X, Y, and Z, whatever like that, right? That's why I'm happy because I'm married and I don't have to worry about any of those things. Whereas, yo, you might run into somebody that's a real freak. Yeah. I hope you can handle that because there is no crime, especially if you're consensual to it, to being a big freak.
The only thing is, well, it just seems like, when people get around certain experiences or whatever, or certain wealth or money, the normal sex is out the window. They get to the craziest levels of shit. The whole tie me up, choke me out, and all anal play and all of that.
That ain't rich people sex, bro.
It just got, but where went publicly, it's like, damn, he getting crazy on this youngin' like that. So I think the way it was presented is why I got a lot of pushback. But what they do in the bedroom is what they do in the bedroom.
Exactly.
Right? Now, the bigger question for me is, it seems like when a black man gets to a certain level, for some reason, they try to tear that man down.
Well, they try to question it. It's happening right now with Ryan Coogler.
It's like you're there, but you crack the door to a room that you're not privy to as a successful black man. And when you might have looked and seen something, you cut the legs off.
Or you cracked the door and they didn't say you could come in yet.
Meaning they can't control how successful you could be in it. Because, mind you, he doesn't rely on ESPN.
No.
For you see the road, the pop and the pill joints, that's all on Clef Shay. So he built a platform for himself where it's like, I don't need this.
He has leverage at the table. He has equity power, right? And he understood that from a very long time. He invested in money. Mind you, also, this is somebody who's an ex-NFL player, Hall of Famer. He comes from money. He has, meaning that he built money. Don't say he, his family's portfolio, all that stuff like that. They have NFL money, and the space that he built himself in doesn't cost him nothing to do what he's doing.
Yeah.
So now that he's built up this following, right? Who's it helping? Is it really helping ESPN or is it helping him? It could be mutual. It could be because what he's doing, ESPN wants him, and because he's on ESPN platform, it helps him out. It can be mutual. So it's like he's at a stage where he has enough buying power at the table where, you're not doing anything that we want to really detach ourselves. It's just that some of these things, it's just, we need to make sure it blows over a little bit, right? And we want to make sure that nothing crazy is there. Because as Mickey Mouse, we want to make sure we looked at a certain space.
You see Gilbert Arenas be sitting down with them now all of a sudden. You know what I'm saying?
Things, but at the end of the day, though, that there's a forum, there's a place, there's a demographic for that type of conversation, right? For those type of people. They used to sit on companies like HBO and stuff like that, where you were able to get raw content. Now those bigger companies are starting to think about, like, for example, I think it personally makes sense for a lot of that content to not even be on ESPN. I think it should be a extension of FX.
Yeah.
Because FX is it's Disney's raw version of where a lot of their grown content goes. Maybe they need to look at it of where they're putting this stuff, so they don't have to worry about when something happens. You know what I mean? It's like, we gotta pull him real fast.
They got Pat McAfee on regular TV. He talking crazy, not out of pocket, but he do a little cussing in here, like I think
it helps out the shade being a little different.
I think just the way that the world is going and terrestrial television, it's not, we don't sit down there at 3 p.m. and say, I'm gonna watch what's going on ESPN now. No. So they need viral moments so you could go back and look at what took place, or they said this and this. Let me go to the YouTube version. So I think it's all a play, but I just think players, musicians, they should be more mindful of the kind of arenas that they dealing with these certain women, because they make allegations to tear a man's character down, but there's nothing in play for it being false.
Yeah, and when the story comes out, you realize nothing really happened with the person. It's like, well, no, like, where was all that energy for the person that lied on me? Yeah, right. So like I said, let's see what happens with the situation, whatever like that. There's nothing illegal about being a freak. There's nothing illegal about, as long as it's consensual. Now, I'm not saying for you to be because you're a freak and you gotta do. It has to be, this person wants to indulge in your freakness. Guys, do whatever you guys want to do. Right? I got nothing to do with anybody else. Say else about that.
I would just say, as men, just the way that these wealthy people protect themselves with NDAs and all of that, and that's what the arena that y'all want to play in, I'm not against that either. But know that when you leave an open in the window, things like this could come out. Damn.
All right. Let me
because these DMs could have been doctored how they want.
Let me tell you what really kills me especially with these athletes and entertainers. They make the pool so small, because here's the thing I know that they all kind of have in relate. They have
same baby mom.
The same. Not that. Here's what I know that they all have not related, but in common. Mm-hmm. They like control because they got money, right? And the thing about it is, it's not that they can't go get this dope ass RN who's working at the top hospital, or this dope ass legal person who just now building up and she's mad cute. The problem is when you go deal with them sophisticated women like that, they can't have control over them. Yeah. Because they want to have a fun time. The thing about it is when a woman, when she has goals and aspirations, she's doing certain things and she ain't really trying to
being on your type of time, and she got a schedule for her own shit. They don't like that. So the thing about it, that's why their pool is so small, because they want to deal with the people who got nothing got going on.
But we have officially reached our favorite part of the show. It's fashion or clashing. So when we say fashion, it's, I kind of like that look.
Yeah.
It's something I would wear. I put it in my closet. And then there's clashing. That's not it.
Right.
I wouldn't wear that nowhere. Get it the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
So with that being said, let's jump into today's first look.
Fits from the streets. Who have a pleasure speaking with? All right, lady, I love the look. Can you let them know what you're wearing today?
I have this Vivian top,
Y'all see what's going on?
choker,
Okay.
this milk white little skirt,
Yes.
Saint Laurent
Okay.
mules,
Yes.
Chanel,
For sure.
just light accessories.
Right. And look, when you get dressed, would you say you start off with first?
Really my mood.
Okay.
And I start with my accessories, like my bags, my shoes.
Yes. Can you let the world know where we at right now?
We are in the world famous Harlem.
Yes. Look, what makes Harlem style different than the rest of the world, and how does it influence you?
The swag is different, maybe. Come on now.
Okay.
Culture.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much for your time.
Look one. Me personally, I'll probably go clashing. I get the sexy look, but it doesn't look fashionable to me. It's like she's trying a little bit too hard. The outfit itself doesn't look too functional. She moved, a boob might come out.
Yep.
Bend over too far, ass might come out. So it's like, where are we going where this is, you know what I mean, a multi-field outfit, or it's not a fashion statement for me. So for me personally, I'm going to go clashing with this one.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think that's a good outfit in a sense. I always question when I see females in certain outfits that I know for a fact that every minute they're adjusting it or trying to make sure that something's not falling out. That showed me that you're caring about the sexy part of it, but you're not caring about the comfortability and also the environment, right? That's gonna draw a lot of attention. It might not be the intention you're looking for. You could do whatever you want to do, right? But my thing is, like, you gotta be conscious of these things. And then also I feel like you're doing too much when it comes to like trying to put together certain pieces. Like you could, seems like a nice lady, I don't know her or anything like that. Seems like a nice lady. Doesn't seem like she has a problem in the department of talking to men or anybody like that. But I would say, you know, sometime in that situation, less is more. Yeah.
Yeah, it's clashing.
Yeah.
Let's go to the next look, see what we got. I actually like this outfit. I think, you know, I'm gonna go fashion with this one. I like the playful look of, you know, cozy along with sexy. Because I think sometimes when the girls would be wearing baggy recently, they lose the femininity of the outfit.
Yeah.
And you started seeing less high heels, and like I remember back in the day, Manolo Blonde Tims was a thing. They weren't wearing Tims like niggas. Like, you know what I'm saying? So this one, the accessories added to it, the glasses, it all brought it full circle for me. I enjoyed this outfit in totality.
No, definitely fashion. She nice with the hoodie. She kept it simple with a, you know, a white top. Kept it cute, which is obviously the look that she was going for. She's a person from that look. It looks like she allows herself to bring the outfit out.
Yeah,
in a sense, right? She doesn't have to put some on that would allow for the outfit to speak for itself. So I like that look for her.
Yeah, because I think it's because that versus the first outfit, it looked functionable.
Yeah.
Like she could move about and her
But she's
personality.
also ready for multiple things. I don't know if that person lives in a place where, you know, the weather changes from time to time, whatever like that. She got a nice little hoodie, comfy. She can zip it up. If it gets a little cold, if it gets too hot, she can take it off, and she still has another outfit underneath. The accessories that go with the hoodie, the glasses, stuff like that. She wasn't doing too much. I believe those are boots she had, right?
Yeah, well, right. Boots with heels or whatever.
Heels or whatever like that. So she's definitely making sure she was in a cute vibe.
Yeah.
So cool. Yeah.
Let's see what else we got.
Hey, how you doing today? What's happening? I'm good, man. What's your name? Where you from?
Sharpe, you already know what time it is. Yes, sir. Compton's in the house. I'm playing with them, man.
Yes, sir. We see the 50 rapper today.
Shit, I'm acne to the flow. You know, jeans, master top.
Okay.
And then we got Prada on the feet,
Dang, I'm definitely proud of you, brother.
Prada on the neck. I mean, Prada on the belt. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. Like, see the chain, though. The chain is crazy.
yeah, nah, come on.
It is crazy.
Oh, Elliot, man.
Damn, shout out to Eliante. Yes, sir. Okay.
Lean on the head, you know what I mean?
Celine,
Right, then you gotta dress for the desert, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Nice.
I'll let you take this one off.
All right, so I am not the most fashionable person to say anything about this outfit too much. I would say I don't think it's clashing. I think he's put together a nice look. I really like the pants. Like I like personally, I like jeans that like they can just speak for itself.
Mm-hmm.
They're not too baggy, not too tight, which I think is a good look. I think it's a decent look for somebody that, like, you know, obviously he probably has the money to buy these certain things or whatever like that. It's not doing too much.
Yeah.
So I think he's walking the line where it's like, yo, that outfit is like, could either go by too much or it's online. But I'm not too mad at what he pulled off there. Especially with, like, I know like some of the guys put on like the scarf or whatever like that, and the leather jacket was pretty tough. I like that. Yeah.
So would you on fashion or fashion?
I'm going fashion, but not too high on the spectrum. Like,
It's my turn.
you brought the OD. I know you brought the OD.
Yo, listen, man. I get it. Name dropping the fits don't matter. I don't give a fuck if it's Eliante on the chain, Prada on the feet, Acne Studio on the jeans. I don't like those DTG type of jeans. Everybody wearing it and they getting away with it. But if it wasn't Acne Studio, they'd be like, what the fuck is those?
Yeah.
So I'm not jacking that because there's a certain brand that is cool. Take away
What that is.
the brand name, it wouldn't be nothing crazy. And my thing is, people kind of blend, like the shoes didn't really pair with the style of that pants to work with hand in hand. And you not Team Babushka, take that shit off. Babushka probably has spoken.
I'm not, when it comes to all like the name you dropping, I don't really necessarily know like too much.
It's not even about the names.
I'm trying to say like the way that you're breaking it down.
Yeah.
Like, I don't go that far in fashion.
Let's go hindsight, right? Good jacket.
Yeah, I like the jacket.
The jacket, plain white tee. The jeans is doing too much. The shoes with the jacket pairs fine.
Yeah.
You get a pair of hard raw denim jeans, fine. You cool. No labels, no. It's a clean silhouette now.
Here's
Hold on.
Okay.
So you pair the loud jeans with the scarf now. Which one is it?
So here's where I push back. So then you could tell me just what item you feel he should remove.
The jeans.
All right. So I agree with loud, because listen, it was loud jeans, new jacket, right? The jacket it's not like it was like a brown leather jacket. Right?
Straight leather. Yeah.
Jacket goes with the boots, right? And the jeans obviously speak for itself when it comes to like different shades of brown or whatever like that, right? I think if you lose the scarf, right, and you don't drop names like you're saying,
Yeah.
then maybe
forget the name aspect. That was just me.
But that's what I'm trying to say. I feel like if you're gonna wear a pair of jeans like that, everything around it has to be.
Not really. It doesn't have
It has to be plain.
Granted.
Am I?
Granted. Take off the remember he had Prada loafers on.
Was it loafer or boots?
Loafer boots, whatever.
Yeah.
You pair those boots, give him a pair of Timbs, fresh cheese with the pants. Now it makes sense. But you can't have a calm pair of shoes, dumbed down jacket, and then you just gonna give me 3D printed on the. Come on now.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, you know, the outfit looked like something was happening, and then it just went left. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not too.
Because niggas be stuck between I'm gonna be a fashionista or I'm gonna drop names.
So that's why I personally, like, I keep it simple. If I knew like I was wearing those type of jeans, everything else is super calm.
Super calm.
I'm letting those jeans speak for itself. Like, I'm not doing nothing else. Like, because if I do, I'm like, I don't know what else to do at that very moment.
I got clashing. He got fashion.
Yeah.
Jace. If I'm bugging, let me know in the comments if I'm bugging. But we're gonna go to the next one.
I'm definitely not the most fashionable person. I keep it real simple. So
Let's see what else we got.
Fitz from the streets. Who I have a pleasure speaking with.
Yo, it's AK the Savior from the Underachievers.
Let's get it. AK, I see the look. Can you let them know what you're rocking tonight?
Yeah, you know that Kid Supercharged Big just came out, so you know I had to rock it.
Okay.
You know I styled this shoe with Kai Sinat and Ray.
For sure.
So I got the Kid Superwear zip hoodie.
Okay.
He changed the design from an angry face to a smiley face.
Right.
I got the windbreak on.
Okay.
Some kid super shit right here.
Yes, sir.
We got the slipper down. You can't tell the slippers, nigga.
Right. I thought they was kicks. I ain't gonna even hold. How would you describe your style?
Right now, today, I'm on my Nego times Bape back in the day shift.
Yeah.
Like 2004.
Okay.
Early ages of the fashion, but to me, I just dress how I feel.
Yes, sir.
am I starting?
Take it away, because I ain't gonna be nice with this one.
Definitely clashing. That's just too much to me. Personally, I don't know where to start. I mean, I thought he had on one jacket, but it seemed like it was two, and like it's too many different like bait as bait, right?
It's like a Bape Kid Super collab.
Yeah, like that was just too much. I mean, yet again, I'm gonna be chilled about the situation because, like I said, I'm not the most fashionable person. I wouldn't be able to pull nothing like that off. I'm gonna leave it to the expert to kind of like go, but I'm going clashing on that one.
I'm no expert, y'all, but I like dressing to my age, and I don't even think a young person will pull that off because the whole nostalgia window for that it has passed. We've seen Lil Wayne wear Bape head to toe,
Yeah,
and then during that era, it made sense. It's when we seen Bape for the first time. But now we get to the point where you're trying to relive a moment. I know baggy clothes is back, but this shit looks terrible. The shoes look cheap. I don't care who's designing. You could have wear regular white shoe. Zip up your goddamn jacket. You don't need a hoodie and a jacket at the same time with all them goddamn colors. It don't make no sense. This shit is not fashionable. I don't care who you design, Casanata, whoever the hell you have. Fire him. Because that shit right there ain't it.
not of the cop.
I like what the kid's doing, but at some point in time, these tastemakers be making tacky decisions, and we okay it because it's a name brand. That's why I say name dropping does not mean anything to me.
It don't.
Because when you come outside, other people like us gotta view shit like that, and that's why it's clashing. Let's go to the next look, man.
Yeah.
So that just pissed me off.
Welcome to Speak Your Fit. What's your name and where you from?
Yo, you already know what it is. It's your boy Rome Streets. Hello. NYC, Brooklyn, Queens, Strong Island, wherever, nigga. All over the place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's the deal.
We got Rome Streets here, big New York.
Now yeah, so
Speak Your Fit to me. Describe your fit to me, man.
got the motherfucking Kiss the Ring, Brooklyn fitted.
Yeah, these Brooklyn.
Shout out my nigga Spud.
That part.
Capital Country on the jacket. Feel me? Get the details.
Yeah.
Motherfucking St. Michael.
That part.
With the cactus playing flea market with. Yeah, this area road. Up the motherfucking Stone Island.
Yeah.
The hell, man?
Yeah.
Got the fucking Louis on.
Yeah.
Fucking Rick Owens shave.
Feel me?
Johnny Dang on the grills.
You feel me? Yeah.
Dang on the motherfucking ring.
Hello.
Just like shit.
Yeah, bro.
It's another one, man. Clashing. Let's just start off there, right? Age appropriate. Too many logos. I get the whole cactus plant flea market. Bullet in the front of your chest.
Yeah.
He looked like he my age, 40. Unquote. So then you have the patch on the side. I don't care about the name of the jeans. They black, clean. Louis Vuitton sneakers, garbage. They won't be around for 2 years. But I didn't even have to get to the jeans or the shoes. But what was placed up top?
Yeah. I would definitely, like, I'm okay with the jacket if you dump that shirt underneath with a plain black shirt, that the jacket speaks for itself. I'm going to do that many logos. Just have the jacket speak for itself. If you go, I mean, not going all black. Obviously, that's always safe. He's got kind of like a smoky black, kind of a little bit of gradation there, whatever. I would say he was just doing too much with the shirt and then all the logos, like you said. I mean, yeah, bullet going through the shirt situation. I don't know what that's
At
about.
40 is crazy.
Yeah. And then, you know, like I said, when like you said, I'm sorry, when you said when people start getting into the names, like, I mean, Rick Owens shades, I'm like, I don't necessarily care about all that.
You take off the shades, it's still a bad outfit.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm okay with the hat. The hat was okay. I think you had jacket, black shirt, and you keep going as you go. I think he's fine. I think he should remove an item or two. You know,
I'm not wearing none of that shit. I'm good, man.
This from the streets. Whoever pleasure speaking with. Yes. This is Clayton Griggs, Chris Griggs. We're very great about the show, man. I see the looks, fellas. How y'all feeling tonight, first of all?
I know it's raining, but you know.
That's the show. Yes, sir. I see the looks. Do y'all know what y'all wearing?
Come on, my man. I'm wearing all daily paper.
Okay.
Let's say, and I got the Trio Brothers.
Yes, sir.
All the way from Japan.
Okay.
You saying?
Yes, sir.
Same way, daily paper, bricks and woods under.
Shout out to Bridgewood.
You know, good old Kohan loafers.
Okay.
And mad comfy.
For sure.
You know.
For sure. How would y'all describe your style?
Hey man, I try to keep it Western and Americana.
Okay. I like that.
But also rude boy style.
For sure.
You know, just try to keep it calming and collected, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. All right, look, who's some of the most stylish individuals to y'all?
Oh man, that's a good one. Obviously Bob. Bob is the number one.
And then Native Americans, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. American brothers, you know what I'm saying? Brothers and sisters, they just keep it funky, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And the last, man, Ralph, what do you mean? Come on.
Shout out to Ralph. Most pride, timeless classic brand out there. For sure. Thank y'all so much for your time. I ain't gonna hold y'all up. It's raining.
I'm not mad at it.
clean.
You can't go wrong with a Canadian tuxedo. You know, denim fit. The other one, I'm not sure what material it was, but you can wear that anywhere.
Yeah.
I like this fact that it's not really my swag per se, but the cowboy type style boots.
Yeah.
I've been seeing that more often. I'm not sure I'm that confident in my shit yet to really pull that off, but I'm not mad at it.
Yeah.
I like this outfit. I think
No, they say they super clean. They ready for
Yeah.
whatever environment they're going into. I have no problem with that. Definitely fashion.
Yeah.
They cleaned up nice. So
It's adulting. I like it.
they definitely adult.
It look age appropriate, and it's just clean. Like it didn't have to be baggy or tight. It just a clean silhouette, man.
Yeah.
So I'm jacking it, man. Next look. See. Oh, what you got? Good, kick this
Yeah,
one off.
clean. Like I mean, that was a denim suit that she had on, right? Like
Yeah.
clean. Kept it pretty simple with the colors. You know, I don't know where she's at for the double jacket because it seemed like a denim jacket and then you had another jacket. So I don't know. Maybe she lives in place somebody like New York or something like that where the weather could change at any moment. Not mad at that look. That's pretty clean. She wasn't doing too much.
Yeah, I'll probably go clap. I'll go fashion with this one. The lumberjack jacket could have been paired with something a little different, but overall totality, I like the look. It's calm, and it's, you know, we're gonna get out the door and just go where we gotta go. And once you say functionality again, this looks like I could just move around in this one without it being, you know, discomfort.
Yeah, and a lot of times too, women they prepare for the entire day. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Like I said, she might have been leaving the crib very early in the morning where that extra jacket is on for her, or it might have just be like, yo, it's a fashion choice.
An accessory.
Yeah, accessory. It might be accessory. Like, yo, I just have this.
This is what we doing.
This is what we doing. So I mean, but I'm not mad at the look.
Yeah, me neither. I think we got another look. Let's check it out. Round of applause. This was real clean.
Yeah.
And the jeans had subtle flair to it. I seen it had like some kind of rhinestoners.
Yeah.
a varsity is always going to give a clean look once it fits you nice. You know, he didn't have an oversized shirt. The belt might have played into the boots. He could have went with the belt or without. I wouldn't have been mad at it. And it just was a clean look. He could go anywhere with this. He could go out with his lady, he could go to brunch, he could hang out with the fellas. It was given. I like this one. Fashion.
Definitely fashion. I like the clean look. I'm not mad at this look at all. To the point, that's just probably as far on the spectrum of fashion that probably I will personally go, because it also gives a comfort of the varsity jacket, like you said. Those boots, I've never had those type of boots before, but I have done the
got a little heel on it. Chelsea boots.
Yeah, I've done the polo boots. It's just like
the cookie boots. Yeah, I remember those.
I forget the name of what they really call them. I haven't really done the cowboy boots yet. I don't know if I'm ready for that, but I'm definitely not mad to look. I like the jeans a lot. Like I'm a big jean. Like when I find jeans that look unique, I definitely want to make sure I put it in my collection. So like boy pulled it off real good.
Well, that's all we got for y'all. Tell them where they could, you know what I mean, look out for next year as far as coaching, where to contact you, all of that other good stuff.
Well, my coach's page is real Trevis Craig 22, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Instagram is real Trevis Trevis Craig 22. You know, the Mary Luce Academy, we got a couple things that's coming up that's pretty cool. We're doing a summer camp for the kids. You know, trying to tell as much parents about the program and push it to school. It's a great school for young females, I believe, honestly, for what I've been seeing and what administration's been doing. They put all the resources in those girls. And they really trying to make sure that they have a great high school experience. I'm just trying to add on to it with, building up the basketball program as much as possible. I'm trying to help them with anything they need. So you could also follow the Instagram page is on my coach's page. I can't remember the name of it. I think it's TMLA Varsity Girls or something like that. If I'm not mistaken, I don't have my phone. You give me.
We'll find it. We'll put it in the description.
Put it up.
Yeah.
So people can follow it. But it's gonna be an exciting season. I have a couple, girls that's coming in, and I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
They're gonna be some great freshmen. I have a couple of girls returning next year. I'm pretty excited about. We should be making a really big splash this year in our league. And I'm just excited to get back on the court with the girls. We're having a good off season now. Girls are in the gym working out. Some girls are in AAU right now with their other programs, putting on for the city. So I'm really excited about where things are going.
Yo, appreciate you joining us. Y'all already know what this is. I'm Remo, aka Mr. Rich Threads. You can follow me at Rich_Threads, RICHE_Threads. This is Let's Talk Fashion, powered by the JBT Network. On that note, y'all out of here, man. Till next week. Peace.